Time now for Talkin' Tunes on 100.9 FM. Talkin' Tunes, a weekly roundtable discussion on music, radio, entertainment, television, nothing too serious, just light and lively chatter with your host, Oscar Osbo.
Welcome to Talkin' Tunes. I'm Oscar Osbo. We're here with Rick Hickman and Jon Russell. And we've got their special guest that they are going to be talking to today. And we'll let Rick take it from here because Rick is the one who can give really good intros. So here he is.
And now it's the Saturday Morning Jukebox Legends Spotlight.
She looked at me, and the emptiness in her eyes was cruel to see. I love the way you always treat me tenderly, but darling, most of all, I love how you love me. Oh, here we stand, trying not to fall. Oh, there's no need to worry, love will conquer all.
Jon Russell and Rick Hickman with you again, and we have a long-awaited treat for you. We are joined by a pair of songwriters whose body of work is second to none. They have been together for over 5 decades, both musically and romantically. They've been inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame and are recipients of the famed Johnny Mercer Award. They are Oscar and Golden Globe nominees and Emmy Award winners. If there was a musical Mount Rushmore, their likenesses would be most prominent. The list of accolades is so extensive that we could go on and on. But what's truly meaningful is that they have brought joy to countless millions of music lovers all over the globe, and their work continues to do so every day of every year and will for time immemorial. Their work has been so prolific that if you are listening to anything but the Hallelujah Chorus, they probably wrote it. We welcome into the Legend Spotlight Mann and Cynthia Weil.
Wow, that was an intro to live up to.
You better start writing again a lot.
Yeah, I think so.
Barry and Cynthia, it only makes sense to begin at the start, and of course the beginning for you would be when you first met. Was this a workplace meeting, or had you met prior to punching a clock as songwriters?
We met when I was writing with a singer-songwriter named Teddy Randazzo, and Barry came up to play him a song. For me, it was Love at First Sight. For him, it took a little longer. But I asked the receptionist there how I could see him again, and she said, well, he's signed to a friend of mine named Don Kirshner. Why don't you go up there and I'll set it up so you can show Donnie your lyrics.
It's called Olden Music.
And so I stalked him and followed him up there.
I didn't have a chance.
No,
I just didn't.
When for most of us, starting a new job means that we created a resume, we had a job interview, and somebody elected to hire us. How in the world does one get selected to work as a songwriter, especially in a situation such as Alden Music and the now historic Brill Building?
Well, I was knocking around for about a year and a half. When I say knocking around, it really wasn't. It wasn't that hard for me to get myself going. I had a hit before I signed with Alden Music. I had a hit by the Diamonds. It was a song called She Say Doobie Doom. And then I bumped into a friend of mine named Jack Keller. And Jack told me that he was signed to this publishing company called Alden Music, run by Don Kirshner and Al Nevins. And he told me he was getting an advance of $200 a week, which I thought, wow, that is incredible. Because I wanted to have a job that felt like you get paid,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to go up and try to get an advance. So I went up there, and I played my songs. Kirshner loved them, and he signed me. That's how it got going. I mean, Kirshner was a terrific publisher. I don't think there was anyone better than Kirshner. And he was wonderful.
Barry, now you were a singer and also a songwriter. When you first started this out, got into this crazy business, was your vision of yourself, hey, I'm going to be the next boy singer, or did you think you were going to do both of them right from the start?
I thought I'd probably be boy singer.
boy writer singer.
Yeah, boy writer singer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the writing, of course, is very important. And so I had a record out. I had, in fact, a few records out until I was on ABC Paramount. And the second record I released was Who Put the Bump in the Bump Bump Bump. And
he went from she say to be dum to Who Put the Bump. Then he met me.
Yeah, I didn't learn how to speak until afterwards.
I'd like to thank the guy who wrote the song that made my baby fall in love with me. Who put the bump in the bump, bump, bump? Who put the rhyme in the rama-lama ding-dong? Who put the bop in the bop, shabop, shabop? Who put the dip in the dip-dip-dip-dip? Who was that man? I'd like to shake his hand. He made my baby fall in love with me. When my baby heard bump, 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 every word went right into her heart. And when she heard them singing rama, lama, 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 ding dong, she said we'd never have to part. So who put the bump in the bump, bump, bump? Who put the rhyme in the rama, lama, ding dong? Who put the bop in the bop, shabop, shabop? Who put the dip in the dip-dip-dip-dip? Who was that man? I'd like to shake his hand. He made my baby fall in love with me. Each time that we're alone, boogity, 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 boogity shoot sets my baby's heart all aglow. And every time we dance to dip, 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 she always says she loves me so. So who put the bump in the bump, bump, bump? Who put the rhyme in the rama-lama ding-dong? Who put the bop in the bop, shabop, shabop? Who put the dip in the dip-dip-dip-dip? Who was that man? I'd like to shake his hand. He made my baby fall in love with me. Darling, bum, 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 and my honey, rama-lama ding-dong, forever. And when I say dip, 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 you know I mean it from the bottom of my boogity, boogity, boogity shoe.
So I became a recording artist for that one little period. But after that, I tried. I was on a lot of other labels and got very close with other songs. We got to get out of this place. Cynthia and I wrote it, and I cut a great demo. And at that point, I was on Redbird Records, which was a label of Lieber and Stoller. And George Goldner was running the label, and he loved my demo. And he was about to put it out. It was ready to go out. And Don Kirshner called Cynthia and I up to his office to tell us something. And it sounded important, so we went up there. And he told us that the Animals cut the song, and it was number 2 in England already.
In this dirty old part of the city where the sun refused to shine, people tell me there ain't no use in trying. Now, my girl, you're so young and pretty, and one thing I know is true: you'll be dead before your time is due. I know. Watch my daddy in bed and crying. Watch his hand been turning gray. He's been working and slaving his life away. Oh yes, I know. He's been working so hard. Mom been working too, baby. Every night and day. Yeah. We gotta get out of this place. If it's the last thing we ever do, we gotta get out of this place. 'Cause girl, there's a better life for me and you. Now, my girl, you're so young and pretty, and one thing I know is true, yeah, you'll be dead before your time is due. Know it. Watch my and you. Somewhere, baby, somehow I know it, baby. We gotta get out of this place. If it's the last thing we ever do, we gotta get out of this place. Girl, it's a better life for me and you. Believe me, baby, I know it, baby. You know it too, baby.
So it was good news and bad news. It was bad news because I couldn't put my record out because they're going to want to release it in the United States. Mm-hmm. So I had to hold back on the record. The good news was that the Animals cut it, and it became a hit. And as a matter of fact, it became the anthem for the Vietnam War.
Whether as individuals or collaborators, Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil certainly showed how they could stretch their individual talents when you go from Who Put the Bump 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 to We Gotta Get Out of This Place. They certainly showed what a powerhouse songwriting team they were. And what about the songwriters they competed against and worked alongside? We'll have a chance to study that next as we come back with more of the Legend Spotlight. And here's just another small sampling of their incredible, eclectic work.
Blame it on the bossa nova with its magic spell. Blame it on the bossa nova that it did so well.
Here you come again, just when I'm about to make it work without you. You look into my eyes and lie those pretty lies, and pretty soon I'm wondering how I came to doubt you. All you gotta do is smile and smile, and there go all my defenses. Just leave it up to you, and in a little while you're messing up my mind and filling up my senses.
Look at this dreams, so big and so better.
But I know I love you, and that may be all I need to know.
Stick and stay around. We'll be back with more after this. Talking Tunes.
Welcome back to the Saturday Morning Jukebox Legend Spotlight.
Because I'm hungry for those good things, baby. Hungry through and through. I'm hungry for that sweet life, baby, with a real fine girl like you.
And it's getting better, growing stronger, warm and wilder, getting better every day, better every day.
I'm never gonna let you go. I'm gonna hold you in my arms forever. Gonna try and make up for the times I hurt you so. Gonna hold your body close to mine. From this day on, we're gonna be together. Oh, I swear this time.
The Brill Building, we talked about that a little bit, and I've been so fascinated. I've always wanted to talk to somebody associated with that. And, you know, there's so many conceptions and misconceptions about what that exactly was. Some people think of it as a kind of a hit factory where people just went to work and punched a clock and wrote songs, but you guys were actually a part of that, knew about that.
We actually were not in the Brill Building. We were in the sister building to the Brill Building, which was 1650 Broadway.
Okay.
And the Brill Building had the older, more established publishers, and 1650 had the young upstarts because the rent was cheaper. Although we're called the Brill Building Writers, we would only go up there when we were visiting Lieber and Stoller or somebody who had an office there.
I never thought of it as a hit factory. I always thought of it as a school for songwriters. And that's what it really was. When we were with Olden Music, the other married writing team was Carole King and Jerry Goffin. Then there were a bunch of other writers up there. Jack Keller was a writer up there, and we learned from each other. And Kirsten would tell us which artists were up to record. And so everybody would go to their little cubicles that were part of the office, or we'd go home and we'd try to write for that artist. And we'd all be very, very competitive. Especially, Cynthia and I were very competitive with Carol and Jerry, and they were very competitive with us. By the way, at the same time, though, we became really good friends, so it became a very schizophrenic relationship because we loved them, and if they got the record and we didn't, we hated them. And the same thing happened with us. If we got the record, they hated us. Hate is a little bit strong, but that's the picture. You know, there is a show that's a smash show on Broadway now, and also touring, and also in London, called
Beautiful, the Carole King.
The Carole King musical.
It kind of tells the story of us and Carol and Jerry.
Right.
And I know there's discussions about turning it into a big screen movie, right?
Oh, it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Tom Hanks' company is going to be doing it.
Getting back to the Brill Building, although we weren't there, I just want to tell you about a book that I wrote, which was a young adult novel that actually takes place in the Brill Building, called I'm Glad I Did.
Oh, okay.
And it's the story of a young girl who gets a job as kind of a gopher at an Alden Music type publishing company, and gets involved with a number of people, solves a murder, and it's been doing really well.
You know, you mentioned Goffin and King, and I know that, Barry, you worked with Jerry Goffin a bit, and you wrote a song called Kicks, you guys did. We were talking with Mark Lindsay.
Mark Lindsay.
About that. The Paul Revere and the Raiders cut it. And he says, you know, on one side, you got this kind of bouncy song that sounds like, you know, hey, it's just a fun time song, and there certainly was some aspect to that, but it had a very deeper meaning. I guess Jerry was going through some drug problems, and maybe that was a way to kind of reach out and send a message to him. Is that how that kind of worked?
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true.
Girl, you put your fingerprints on that magic carpet right last night. But when you wake up in the morning, the world still gets you uptight. Well, there's nothing better you ain't tried to fill the emptiness inside. When you come back down, girl, still ain't feeling right. Don't it seem like it's just keep getting harder to find, and all your kicks ain't bringing you peace of mind. Before you find out it's too late, girl, you better get straight. No, it's not with kicks. You just need help, girl. Well, you think you're gonna find yourself a little piece of paradise, but it ain't happened yet. So, girl, you better think twice. Don't you see, no matter what you do, you'll never run away from you. And if you keep on running, you'll have to pay the price. And don't it seem like it's just keep getting harder to find, and all your kicks ain't bringing you peace of mind. Before you find out it's too late, girl, you better get straight. No, you don't need kicks to help you face the world each day. That road goes nowhere. I'm gonna help you find yourself another way. It's just keep getting harder to find.
We wrote it for Jerry. He had a very bad time. It was the beginning of his struggle.
Mm-hmm.
He realized later on that he was bipolar. It all started, he called us up at about 3 o'clock in the morning. He sounded really strange and very different, and he said he was going to interpret Bob Dylan for everybody, and he ended up booking a date of like 100 musicians, and he was going to read poetry. It was really strange for 2 or 3 days. And finally, I mean, Cynthia and I called Kirshner up and said, you better get over there. I mean, he's really having a tough time. He went up on the roof, and he finally was put in the hospital, and he said to Cynthia and I, he says, I'll never forgive you for this. You know? And years later, I'm talking 40 years later, he took me to lunch, and he thanked me. I thought that was really nice, and I'm glad that Cynthia and I did what we did.
And, of course, we'll tell folks a little later on exactly how they can reach your website so that they can determine all of this information. Always have a chance to join you on Twitter to keep up with all of your exploits as well. For the benefit of our audience, I know that some people have the feeling that songwriters might be walking through Central Park, or you're walking down the street of a major urban city, and bam, all of a sudden inspiration just strikes from the heavens. But really, where does the inspiration sometimes come from?
It comes from the phone call that says, We need a song.
Sometimes. I mean, I don't think that happened all the time. There were times we just sat down and wrote a song. When we wrote on Broadway, I think we thought of giving it to the Cookies afterwards, didn't we?
I don't actually remember.
I remember it well.
They say the neon lights are bright on Broadway. On Broadway. They say there's always magic in the air. On Broadway. But when you're walking down that street and you ain't had enough to eat, the glitter is right off and you're nowhere. They say the girls are something else on Broadway. On Broadway. But looking at them just gives me the blues. On Broadway. 'Cause how you gonna make some time when all you got is 1 thin dime, and 1 thin dime won't even shine your shoes. On Broadway. Ha, they say that I won't last too long on Broadway. On Broadway. I'll catch a Greyhound bus for home, they all say. On Broadway. But oh, they did wrong, I know they are, 'cause I can play this here guitar, and I won't pretend I'm a star on Broadway. Oh, they did wrong, I know they are, 'cause I can play this here guitar, and I won't pretend I'm a star on Broadway. On Broadway. On Broadway. I'm gonna make it, yeah. On Broadway. I'll be a big, big, big man. I have my name in lights.
There are times, like Cynthia, you wrote Uptown because you saw her. Why don't you tell the story? Because, you know.
Yeah, I thought an African-American guy who actually looked like an African prince pushing one of those carts with dresses on it down in the garment district, and that inspired a song called Uptown, which is about a guy who is one person when he's down at work and another person when he's uptown.
He gets up each morning and he goes downtown, where everyone's his boss and he's lost in an angry land. He's a little man, but then he comes uptown each evening to my tenement. Uptown where folks don't have to pay much rent, and when he's there with me, he can see that he's everything. Then he's tall, he don't crawl, he's a king. Downtown he's just one of a million guys. He don't get no breaks, and he takes all they got to give. 'Cause he's got to live. But then he comes uptown where he can hold his head up high. Uptown he knows that I'll be standing by, and when I take his hand, there's no man who could put him down. The world is sweet, it's at his feet when he's uptown.
Fantastic song, too. Certainly one of my all-time favorites. And, you know, in talking about things like that, was there ever a time that you heard a song once it was fully produced that it even surprised you how amazing it was?
Oh, of course, You've Lost That Love and Feeling.
Yes.
You know, but at first I thought that when Phil Spector played it for us over the phone, you know, it sounded, you know, Bill Medley with that very low voice.
Right.
And when we had written it and rehearsed it with him, he wasn't that low. So when he played it for us over the phone, I started screaming, "You got it on the wrong speed."
We know you're one of us when you laugh at that, because kids now don't even know about
Right.
they don't know about records, they don't know
Exactly.
about B-sides.
Yeah.
That completely makes sense. And of course, that song, You've Lost That Love and Feeling, nothing much ever happened to that, did it?
It only became the most played song of the last century.
The Song of the Century by BMI. What an accolade.
Yeah, that was pretty incredible.
Now, you wrote that with the Righteous Brothers specifically in mind, right?
Yes,
Yes, Phil had played us 2 local records of theirs,
Little Latin Loopy Loo.
and My Babe, that Bill had written. For some reason, Barry got the idea they should be doing a ballad.
And we loved Baby, I Need Your Loving. That was our kind of inspiration to write, you know, You've Lost That Love and Feeling. Hey, I sound good.
You always have.
You never close your eyes anymore when I kiss your lips. And there's no tenderness like before in your fingertips. You're trying hard not to show it, but baby, I know it. You lost that love and feeling. Oh, that love and feeling. You lost that love and feeling. Now it's gone, gone, gone. Oh. Now there's no welcome look in your eyes when I reach for you. Girl, you're starting to criticize little things I do. It makes me just feel like crying. 'Cause baby, something beautiful about it. You lost that love and feeling. Oh, that love and feeling. You lost that love and feeling. Now it's gone, gone, gone. Whoa, whoa. Baby, baby, I'd get down on my knees for you. If you would only love me like you used to do, yeah. We had a love you don't find every day. So don't let it slip away. Baby, I beg you please, I need your love, I need your love. Yeah, bring it on back, bring it on back, bring back that love and feeling. Oh, that love and feeling. Bring back that love and feeling. 'Cause it's gone, gone, gone. And I can't go on. Bring back that love and feeling.
And it always seemed like you might have been attracted to those particular duos or artists or groups that had terrific harmonies.
Yeah, harmony and soul. I mean, Bobby and Billy just had so much soul. That really helped.
And clearly our very special musical guest today, Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil, had a tremendous amount of soul and incredible talent. And we'll find out just how much more when we return.
Moves my soul like the sound of a good old rock and roll lullaby. Man, she's looking through the eyes of love, looking through the eyes of love, looking through the eyes of love when she looks at me.
Stick and stay, don't go away. We'll be back right after this. So here they are once again, Talking Tunes.
Welcome back to the Saturday Morning Jukebox Legends Spotlight.
Thanks for joining us again as we continue our Legend Spotlight interview with the incomparable Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil.
How do you keep from writing the same song all the time? I think you know what I mean. I mean, all of a sudden, you can get in a pattern where, boy, this song sounds a lot like that other song, and this song sounds like...
Well, there are, it depends. Each artist has their own personality, so you have to write for that personality. So when you do that, you write a different kind of song for each one.
Very good, Barry.
I just tell the truth.
And, taking you back to the Alden music days for just a bit, I remember hearing a fascinating interview with Paul Anka once where he now bemoaned the fact that a CD these days might take 2 to 3 years to complete. And he had mentioned that during the Brill years that someone might have an idea that morning and the truck was backing up to the back door for the pressed vinyl copies that night. So if you really had inspiration, boom, you could have a hit in a week.
Yeah, it was kind of instant gratification, which was great because we were impatient kids.
Another song that you had that has kind of that double meaning was Only in America. I'd heard that you'd really written that for the Drifters at first, and it was kind of more of a sarcastic. I mean, here's this bouncy song that sounds, again, that, hey, everything's great, America's fantastic, hey, it's good to be young and be an American and anything can happen. But you kind of wrote it at a darker angle a little bit, didn't you?
Jerry felt that if the Drifters sang it, people would realize that it was tongue-in-cheek.
Okay.
Irony.
Okay.
That it was ironic, but it seems that they didn't realize that. They just thought it was a lie.
Only in America can a guy from anywhere go to sleep a pauper and wake up a millionaire. Only in America can a kid without a cent get a break and maybe grow up to be president. Only in America, land of opportunity, yeah. Would a classy girl like you fall for a poor boy like me? Only in America can a kid who's washing cars take a giant step and reach right up and touch the stars. Only in America could a dream like this come true. Could a guy like me start with nothing and end up with
think that an African American could be president. You know,
Right,
could
yeah.
never happen.
You know, you talk about those times, obviously from the late 50s, very early 60s, when you came out with Who Put the Bump and the beginning of your songwriting collaboration. Certainly the 60s was a decade that saw such an amazing evolution in this country, and clearly it had an effect on your songwriting as well.
Absolutely. I think that we were very much a product of the times. I had gone to a very crazy liberal little high school, private high school in New York, and everybody was listening to Pete Seeger and Woody Guthrie.
Weavers.
And I always felt that songs could be more than I love you, you love me. And so we kind of wove that into some of our work.
You know, we've talked to artists who all of a sudden said, you know, were around when the Beatles hit, and all of a sudden that was their big inspiration. Some people even said it was like Friday, the world was in black and white, and Monday, after the Ed Sullivan Show, the world was in color. And I think it's Tommy James or somebody said that to us. Mm-hmm. But from a songwriter perspective, did you realize when the Beatles came on, I mean, obviously they were career killers for a lot of folks. Talk to us about that time, and did you have to adapt to a different style, or how did that all work for you guys?
We were worried about it, but the truth is, we ended up writing a bunch of hits during that period. I mean, we wrote You've Lost a Loving Feeling even after the Beatles, hit. And Soul and Inspiration we wrote afterwards. And Kicks and Hungry we wrote afterwards. And as far as adapting, the only thing I realized is that not only the Beatles, after the Beatles made it, there were a lot of other English groups that were very guitar-oriented. Since I didn't play guitar, I tried to come up with figures on the piano that were guitar figures. That was the only way I tried to adapt.
You've written together, you've written apart. I mean, talk to us a little bit about you guys writing together.
Yes, Barry's the music and I'm the words.
Yeah, 99 and 9/10 of the time.
Obviously, one of your successes is having such a diversity of hits. When you talk about the fact that you're able to write for a Dolly Parton or the Monkees, when you can write for the Drifters or Andy Williams, I guess the one truism that's always going to be true is that if you write a good song, it will be a good song. And it sounds like you just always stayed very true to yourselves.
Yeah, but also taking into consideration the artists themselves too, the kind of artists that they were. But we did, we did stay true to ourselves. And if we somehow wrote a song that we weren't true to ourselves, you could hear it. So forget that. You know, as we were writing, we were learning. The more we wrote, the better we became, and the truer to ourselves we became.
One of the nuances was the fact that you evolved into doing a lot of music for film. How was that process different than writing pop hits?
Usually in a film, it's more like writing for theater, in that when you're writing for a film, if it's not just a title song, if it's a song score, such as American Tail or Muppets Treasure Island, the songs move the story as well as serve as a musical respite from the dialogue.
In terms of getting paid for what you do, going back to your time with Don Kirshner, did you just cut a deal with him and he paid you a salary, or did you get a percentage of the song? How did that all work for you guys?
We got a guarantee.
Okay.
And then it was royalties went against the guarantee.
Ah.
The first 2 years, he gave us a salary, which I guess was a guarantee.
It was a guarantee.
Yeah, because it went against.
Yeah, it went against something. It wasn't just we got paid and that was it.
Yeah, that's true.
And I know one of the reasons you wanted to ask that question, John, is because we've talked to so many famous artists that had very difficult times getting the monies deserved. Was it ever that way for songwriters too, or was that less of a hassle?
It wasn't a hassle for us.
It wasn't for us, but I'm sure for other songwriters dealing with shady publishers it was.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You wrote with people in mind. The question I had, it doesn't necessarily apply to you guys, is the luck of who records your song. I mean, if you got a song and it goes in the the big pool, and all of a sudden Harold Schmedlap, who's just starting out, records your song. I mean, the chances are, if Elvis Presley doesn't record it, it's not going to get the kind of airplay.
Actually, many of our songs that turned into hits were first-time artists. So more important than who was recording it was who was producing it, the record company.
Do you know Walter?
We don't.
No. Oh, Walter, he's like a
he went on and produced a whole bunch of the Mariah Carey records.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Actually, Lionel Richie, who produced the records that I did with him.
How about
Babyface?
Babyface.
Oh,
Babyface.
sure.
And,
Wow. He's
yeah,
gone on an
he's a
amazing
great
career.
producer. All this stuff is really great.
In your versatility, I mean, obviously you wrote pop songs, and but also country songs, or Leroy Van Dyke, Dolly Parton. As you get into the show tunes, so just the versatility of what you guys have done have been wonderful. And I got to think that it's got to be a tribute as well to you guys. Make you feel good that if somebody like Dolly Parton, who writes a lot of her own stuff, all of a sudden she says, "Hey, I got to sing this song by these folks."
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. I mean, the song is really not a country song, really a pop song. She ended up having a hit. Matter of fact, it was her first million-selling record that she had, and she's very gracious about that too.
You, Barry, I understand, do photography now. I mean, are you still in the music business, or have you branched off into the other things?
Yeah, we're not the way we were, of course.
Right.
Once in a while, we'll dabble,
Or someone will call us and ask for something, and we'll do it.
And there's a Darlene Love. Steve Van Zandt gave us a call. He was producing Darlene Love. And so we ended up writing a song for her album.
The music changing constantly. I mean, like today's music, some folks in our generation, and say, man, the stuff today is just so so different than when you guys were really hit. Yeah. What's your feelings on the changes in music?
I think it's always evolving and it's always changing, and it's I don't want to be one of those old farts who sits around and says, I hate everything today,
right?
Because there's always good music to be found,
right?
And we had our share of bad music too. There are some things that I don't naturally gravitate to, and others that I do. I mean, I think Taylor Swift is a wonderful little pop writer.
And Taylor Swift can certainly hang a statement like that on her mantle as high accolades indeed, coming from one of the finest songwriting duos of all time, Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil. And we'll come back to wrap up our discussion with this phenomenal duo here on the Legend Spotlight, the Saturday Morning Jukebox.
But nothing can change the shape of things to come. Saturday night at the movies, who cares what picture you see? When you're hugging with your baby, let's roll in the balcony. Through the fire, to the limit, to the wall. For a chance to be with you, I'd gladly risk it all. Through the fire, through whatever comes my way. For a chance at loving you, I'd take it all away. Right down to the wire, even through the fire.
Stick and stay around. We'll be back with more after this.
Welcome back to the Saturday Morning Jukebox Legend Spotlight.
She'll be kind of shy and real good looking too. And I'll be certain she's my girl by the things she'll like to do. Like walking in the rain.
But you gotta make your own kind of music, sing your own special song, make your own kind of music, even if nobody else sings along.
We're going all the way. If the two of us both want it, I lay my money on it, starting today.
Jon Russell and Rick Hickman here for our last chapter in our discussion with Cynthia Weil and Barry Mann.
You mentioned Phil Spector, and certainly the stories around him are legendary. We had been working with Denny Tedesco, who did a movie on the Wrecking Crew and that Los Angeles
I
group,
love
and
that.
had some fantastic stories about Phil Spector. What was it like working close with him back in the day? Was he, some folks, said, hey, this cat's a little crazy. What was that like?
Not as much as he is now.
When you're young, you're eccentric, as you get older, you get crazy.
Right, he wasn't drinking the way he was drinking at the end.
Okay.
He really wasn't. But like Cynthia said, he was eccentric, but not the way he ended up.
Again, let's hit on the photography angle of things for you. You actually are doing that now, and you're exhibiting a lot of your work, spending some time doing that?
I exhibited about 4 different galleries at one point. And I'm just kind of learning. At this point, I'm trying some new stuff, trying different cameras, and having a really good time with it. I really am.
Was that something that you always had a love for photography, or is that something you just kind of discovered in the last few years or whatever?
About 20 years ago, 15 years ago, I lose track of time. I really started to feel that, something, I think I could really be a good photographer. I went on a trip with some people, and I started to just mess around. And I looked at some of the stuff, and I said, this stuff maybe isn't bad. So I wanted to get an opinion. And we're friendly with a guy named David Kennerly. Do you know the name?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
David was President Ford's photographer, Pulitzer Prize-winning Vietnam photographer. So I showed him some of my work, and he thought it was really good. And I said, well, if he thinks it's good, I think I'm going to try to pursue this a little bit more seriously.
And Cynthia, you're an author.
I loved writing the book that I wrote. I have to figure out what I want to do next.
Ah, there you go. You guys have been together since 61. I mean, it's one thing to just have your marriage last that long, but then again to be partners in work. How do you keep it going?
I think the music was like the glue to our marriage. Mm-hmm. Besides other stuff, we're friends. We have the same sense of humor. Not the same, but we both have a sense of humor. We make each other laugh. But again, the glue, I think, was our creativeness.
Cynthia, I guess that begs the question. Have you ever had a time when maybe it was an evening after an earlier argument in the day and you have to write some lyrics and you hand that and you go, here's your lyrics?
Sometimes I used to feel that it would be better if he came home to someone who said to him, don't worry about that terrible demo. Everything will be all right, instead of me who was saying, what the hell happened?
Have the meatballs that I just
right.
Of course, you've had a very lucrative amount of success and achievements in your 55-year collaboration and teamwork together, but one of the most successful is simply as parents. Let's talk about that wildly famous daughter of yours.
She's great. I mean, she's a very successful psychologist, and she had a show called Couples Therapy was the original one. And now she has a family therapy. Matter of fact, it was on last night.
It's on VH1.
A reality show. Mm. And she's amazing. She's an amazing therapist and an amazing human being.
Well, you can learn more about all that we've discussed today at man-weil.com.
On Twitter, we're just Man Weil.
What a treat it has been for both of you to share the valuable time with us today. In 1961, brand new companies emerged like Costco, Giorgio of Beverly Hills, Frito-Lay, and Haagen-Dazs. And gratefully, one of the greatest ever collaborations came together. That was Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil. Not only a phenomenal music success, but a marriage that will reach 55 years this coming October. And we so thank you for your valuable time and graciousness in speaking with our audience today. Thank you for your brilliance and all the happiness and joy you've shared over these many years.
Well, great.
Thank you, guys.
It was a really fun interview.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
I just can't help believing when she smiles up soft and gentle with a trace of a misty morning and a promise of tomorrow in her eyes. I just can't help believing when she's lying close beside me and my heart beats with the rhythm of her sigh. This time the girl is gonna stay. This time the girl is gonna stay more than just a day. I just can't help believing when she slips her hand in my hand and it feels so small and helpless that my fingers fold around it like a glove. I just can't help it. sunshine and honey sweet with love. This time the girl is gonna stay. This time the girl is gonna stay for more than just a day. Just a day.
Baby, I can't make it without you. And I'm telling you, honey, you're my reason for laughing, for crying, for living, and for dying.
Stick and stay, don't go away. We'll be back right after this.